Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar on an overview of IPA Books Plus. My name is Corey Anderson. I'm a customer success training consultant with IPA Books Plus. I know I saw a few of you guys last week in the Barossa at the tax retreat. Looking forward to seeing some of you at San Remo for the Victorian Congress this week as well too, and of course any of the others coming up. I know the one in Parramatta next week, Brisbane, Perth as well too. So going to be getting around a little bit here. Just a little bit of housekeeping just before I do continue on. Everyone is muted here, so if you do have any questions, please put them into the questions box on the GoToWebinar panel, and I'll keep an eye on that as we go through for if there's any technical issues. But other than that, I'm going to go through any questions at the end as well. If you do want to get rid of that panel off your screen, just click on the orange arrow and that disappears, and then you can move that out again. And I apologize if I do sound a little bit stuffy, just fighting a bit of a cold here, stuffy nose, so apologies on that one. Okay, just before I do get into the actual overview, just going to quickly whiz through a bit of a slideshow. Some of you may have seen this one already, but we'll just have a quick look at a few things. So with IPA Books Plus, you would have seen this in the news last year and that. So it's just talking about the partnership that IPA has done with Reckon to white label their product to be IPA Books Plus. So why IPA Books Plus? So it's just giving you as members, and I'm actually a member myself as well, an exclusive branded online accounting software for you and your clients. So it's just giving something that you can offer your clients and you feel that it's yours as well. So it's the most adaptable, true SaaS cloud accounting model in the industry with our unique modular approach to it. And I'll talk about the modules a little bit later on. And we found that 45% of small businesses are not yet in the cloud as well too. So we've got compliant, modern accounting technology, single touch payroll, and of course it's all ready to go for the 19s and unders that are coming in this year, SuperStream, all of that sort of thing as well. And affordable pricing starts from only $5 a month, and you build up from that. Simple and easy to use, and it's all online, which means it doesn't matter whether you're using a PC, a Mac, even on an iPad or an Android tablet or anything. You can actually run your business anywhere and enjoy all the automatic updates as well too. And strong data security. Your sensitive data is stored all in Australia, not overseas, and it's backed by bank level security and encryption. So just something to be mindful of there. It is stored in Australia, which is great. Incidentally, if anyone is joining just after we started here, this is being recorded, so you can have access to this later on. So let's have a look at the modules in Books Plus. So we've got the core module. This is the one where you must have the core module. $5 a month. It has all your reporting in there, BAS, GST. You can do money in, money out transactions. You can import a bank statement if you want, but it just gives you the basics of the package. Then if you need to do invoicing and put bills into the system, add the invoices module on. Bank data as well too is the next one. I'll just bring up the pricing on these as we go through. So invoices is from $3 a month, unlimited invoicing. Bank data, $5 a month for 1,000 transactions, as many bank accounts, credit cards, loan accounts as you want in that. Then we go on to projects for $3 a month. That's job costing, able to track jobs and break it down per job as well. Then we got the time and expenses. So $3 a month doing timesheets, any expense claims on bill to your customers. And then $5 a month for payroll, unlimited number of employees in the payroll section. So it doesn't matter whether you've got 1 or 401, the price doesn't change there. So it is very good value. Most of our users are using the core, invoices, bank data, and payroll. So you can see from that, we're looking at $18 a month, and there's no sort of real limits in there for most businesses. There is also an add-on marketplace as well too. So we work with a number of different apps especially through the Zapier side. So it just enables different tools to be able to use by your clients as well for better insights into their business. And now, just one thing to think about with member and client onboarding and training. So you've got your dedicated account managers for your personalized for servicing of you guys, customer success, which is what I'm part of, to help that conversion and getting your clients on and keeping them on there and that sort of thing. And there's also the IPA Books Plus Training Academy. So there's quick start guides, end user tutorials, webinars like we've got today, there's videos, there's a whole range of stuff on there as well. Free to sign up, highly recommend using that as well too. Ongoing support, omni-channel, phone, email, chat, so you get to speak to a real person, and dedicated support lines for you as members and your clients as well too. Then we have the migration services. So if you're wanting to convert from another software package, we can easily we can do that with our migration service as well. It's a complimentary offer as well too. So, so just for more detail on what's part of that complimentary offer, it's detailed in the migration area on the IPA, on the publicaccountant.org website. And then we've got a help site as well too. So help.ipabooksplus.com. It's just I like a Google for looking for any articles that you might need help with. Just want to look at some offers for you guys as members. So you got the IPA Cloud Advisor program. So once you've signed up to Books Plus, we then recommend you as advisors go on and sign up to the Cloud Advisor program as well too. So then you get 5 free. Once you get to 5 books, you'll then receive 20% commission, and you also get a free partner book as well too. When you reach 50 books annually, you'll receive CPD credits to the value of 50% of your annual IPA membership. And when you've got 100 books annually, you'll receive credits to CPD credits to the value of 100% of your IPA membership. And then, of course, we've got state-based sessions running around, and you'll see a lot of us at the conferences and symposiums and congresses and all the various names they all get called. So how do we become a cloud advisor? So you go to ipabooksplus.com. You type in your IPA, you log into as normal through the public accountant login that you use there, and then you'll see a page about introducing IPA Books Plus, and I'll show you this in a moment. Get your free book, create your Books Plus account, and then once you're in there, go down to the partner area on the left-hand side, complete the required screen. So I'll show you that in a second. Once that's all approved through the system, you then get your free book and be part of the Cloud Advisor. So this is just some screenshots of just what that sort of looks like. So when you go to ipabooksplus.com, you're logging in with your IPA member details to access this part of the site, to the landing page, get your free book, and then create your account as well too. So when you create the account, we can use Google, Office 365, or the traditional email password method as well too. You'll also see on that screen that there is a migrate data as well, so that's where you can go to have a look at that. Okay, so without any further delays, I'm just going to go and jump over into, oops, sorry, wrong one, the presentation, or going into Books Plus. So I've already created my account here, and then I've logged in. So once I have logged in, I'll then see all my books appearing on the screen as well. Just waiting for the screens to catch up. Okay, so these are all sitting there. You'll see I've got my free partner book, and on the left-hand side, this is where I've got partners as well too. So partners is the area, as I said, sign up as a partner, and this is also a good way when you're adding your clients on to go to this area, add a client, put in their details, and you select the modules. You can create the account for them, and you can also continue that book setup as well. And you've got the choice of whether you want to pay for it or you want your clients to pay for that book as well too. So that is one big advantage of the using the partner area. Okay, just going to go back up to Books Plus. And I'm going to open my Smash Davo Cafe. So you can see from Smash Davo Cafe, all the modules I've got selected on. If I look at Pomfrit's Cafe, I've only got Payroll and Core. and you can see the difference between all of those. So if I look at the pommes frites, I can go to settings, and then I've got the ability to customize your Books Plus modules, so I can change that and add anything else on. If I want to add invoicing on, if I want to add bank data on, I can do that from within here as well too. I can also downgrade, so it is only a monthly subscription, so you can chop and change each month as you prefer as well too. Okay, as I say, I'm going to open up the Smashed Avo Cafe, and we're going to have a look at that, that here as well. So the first thing I'm going to see in here is the dashboard. So the dashboard is showing me all the key information around the business. Now this view is dependent on the user and their level of access as well too. So each user can customize their view, and if you don't have access to certain areas, you're not going to actually see that part of the dashboard as well too. So if that person doesn't have access to payroll or banking, you're not going to see them on there. So it's giving you the nice little net position, and I can actually click on that ring, say around the income there, and it drills down into the reports area, into the profit and loss, and I can further drill down into, say, the cafe account. I've got the transactions, so I can further drill down into the underlying transactions as well too. I'll just go back to the dashboard. Okay, so my dashboard's back and I can see everything. One thing that is quite nice with the payroll, there is a payroll checklist. So making sure when you're setting up the payroll, it's just giving you that list to make sure that you've got everything correct and up to date, and making sure you're completing all the tasks that you need to with the payroll side. On the left-hand side, we've got our menu options, day to day, which goes through money in, money out, business. The menu options appearing on here depend on the level of the modules you've got selected. If I don't have projects, I'm not going to see projects. If I don't have timesheets and expense claims, I'm not going to see those as well too. So just be aware of those. Same with estimates, it does need to be turned on in a certain area. It's part of the invoices module. Payroll, if you don't have payroll, you wouldn't see this whole menu at all. Banking, reporting, contacts, and then taxes, where I've got BAS and TPAR sitting underneath all of that. Then I go over onto the far right hand side. We've got a quick add menu, so it's just being able to quickly add an invoice. It takes you straight to the invoice creation screen, whereas going day-to-day invoices takes you to the invoices overview, then you go add from there. So this is just that quick add. Email history, so it's just giving you a history of any emails that have been sent out from the system. So I'm going to click on that. Let's have a quick look at that while we're talking about that. So it's just showing me that invoices that I've emailed out have been sent, any payment summaries, pay slips as well too, that have been sent. If anything's failed or it's stuck in processing, these will appear here as well too. If someone says, I haven't received that, check this area, it might have failed as well too. So it is something that is quite good to keep an eye on. The help area, so we've got the IPA Books Plus Help Center. By clicking on that, it takes us through to the Help Center. So I'm just clicking on that now, so then we can see what that's all about. So you can type in anything that you want there, need a bit of help with, and so forth. Below that, there was an option for the Training Academy. So if I click on the Training Academy, it just gives me the option to go in here. I can explore, I can look at different courses and that sort of thing as well. So there's a number of options there. Under support, contact the teams directly for any help as well. Okay, so the last thing up the top here is the administration menu. So this is where another place I'll find the chart of accounts. It's also under day to day. settings, change book, or back to portal. You can also just close the tabs and open up other books. And the beauty of Books Plus is you can actually have more than one book open at a time as well too. So it's great for doing intercompany stuff as well. So one thing that is quite good about this, so I can actually right click on the open button on the main Books Plus portal, and I can open that company in a new tab as well too. By clicking on open, it'll open in a new tab anyway. But a lot of things will always, whenever you see that that internet link finger, it will allow you to open things in a new tab. And you can also move that to another screen if you're using dual screens. Okay, so I'm going to have a look through the settings, just show you some of the key things within here as well with the settings area. So first of all, we have the book settings. So this is, I'm not going to click into every single screen as well too. I'll just talk about some of these as well. Book settings is where you'll find ABNs, email addresses, legal names, phone numbers, addresses, all that sort of thing within there. Report settings is whether you want the default reports to be cash or accruals, and you can change it any time when you're actually running the reports as well too. There's also the option to have page numbers, headers, footers, time and date stamps on the reports as well. Manage invoice template. So this is where, when I've got the invoices module selected, I can go in, and this is, you'll see, I can open this in a new tab. Just make that a little bit easier so I'm not having to go backwards and forwards all the time. Number of templates in there already. So professional, standard, products and services, or generic. I can change the font size. Header allows me to add different things in there. I can say yes, and then I can select a logo to add onto my invoices, what I want to be able to show on there, phone numbers, ABNs, emails, all of those sort of things. And of course, some things that we are required to have as well too. Content, what you want to be able to see in the content side. And you'll notice that there's a service date up the top that's grayed out. So that's if you're wanting to use service date on invoices, it needs to be turned on in another area before that field becomes available. And then footer, so it's just sort of totals, when it's due, how to pay, all the stuff that everyone ignores all the time. Email settings, so this is just setting the default message for any emails that go out. So like we're saying, the invoice, the payment summaries, the pay slips, the BAS, because you might be getting your clients to email the BAS into you to review. So it's just that default message. Classification, so we can handle classification. So it's just a matter of, take this example, cafe, Smash Savo Cafe. They do normal everyday cafe stuff, but they also then have catering. So I can do my classifications as cafe and catering to do P&Ls on both sides of business to see whether they're profitable. And then I can use my projects to actually report on each of my individual catering jobs to see if they are profitable or not. Roles and users. So users here is also relating back to this staff area under account back on the main portal. So this is where I'm the business owner, I'm the accountant, any other staff within my firm or my business, I would add them as staff here. If there's someone external, you wouldn't add them as staff. So say you as an accountant, you wouldn't add your clients as staff to your account, because then they will see all the books. They won't be able to get into them because there is a feature there on what they can and can't access. If I just have a look in here, application permissions, so I can see that IBA user has limited access to the Pomfret's Cafe, no permission to Rolling Hills Produce, and I've got a few other books that I haven't actually finished the setup for as well too. So it is quite good to add your stuff there when you want to share your book later. Just under the top part here under Books Plus, I can just go to Smash Savo Cafe, share with, and user, and then I can add a third-party email address in there, so I can share that with them as well too. So I've got that one shared over with Will and myself. And it's very easy to unshare, change those permissions as well too. So let's go back into the settings and roles area. I've just clicked on roles, just waiting for your screen to catch up as well too. Okay, so by default, we have 4 that are created by default. So we've got admin, limited, super user, and support. I've then added another one in here called catering as well too. So that's just for the catering staff so they can do their timesheets as well. So I'm going to click on catering, and just so we can see how I've broken this down, and you can see it is very, very granular on what we can do. So first of all, I've got the main headings, day-to-day, payroll, banking. So you'll see that this person, they've got a little half moon next to day-to-day, means they've got some of those options. No payroll access, no banking, no reporting. Anyone in this user role can't do any of those. Expand out day-to-day, they can't do estimates, invoices, so forth. All they can do is view, create and edit a timesheet, view, create and edit, and email, of course, their expense claims and timesheets. You might create a catering level 2, and that person is able to manage and approve those as well. So you can duplicate roles, copy roles to other books as well too. So it does give you that flexibility. But you can also apply more than one role to a user as well too. So if the catering manager was going away, you want the staff to be able to manage their own timesheets, you can just lay another role over the top rather than muck around with the one that's already there. Okay, just going back to settings. Money in, money out, payment service, time and expenses. So money in, it's just, I'll just open this in another tab just so it makes it a little bit quicker. You can set a default bank account. I've got estimates enabled. If you want the approvals process enabled, so before something goes out, it's got to be approved by someone else with the invoices or estimates. I've got my wording for the estimates. I've got my wording for the invoices. This is where I've got the service date, whether I want to enable that or not. Bank details, customer adjustment notes, and of course, invoice payment terms as well too. So a number of the payment terms we do sit there by default, so you can then add others if need be. And it's just a matter of completing the other information on here. One thing I will mention around invoices and the invoice start number, when you first start a book and no invoice has been raised, you can actually change that number to be anything you want. So if you're coming from another system and you want this one to be relatively similar, you can actually use that to change that. But once an invoice has been created, you can't change that at any point in time. Just going to have a look at the money out. Just a default bank account approval process. Just how you want your bills and that to be set up. Just some little settings for time and expenses. But importantly, we've got our statements as well. So this is just statements, bank details again appearing on there, the type of statement that you want, and the template, adding logos on and that sort of thing. Payment services, so we have partnered with PayPal, Braintree, which is part of PayPal, and AusEddy for collection of payments. So with PayPal and Braintree, a little link goes out on the bottom of the email for the invoice saying, click here to pay your bill. Not AusEddy, Easy Debit, sorry. We've partnered with AusEddy for something else. Easy Debit is the third one, and that means that when an invoice has been raised, after you've signed up all the paperwork, you can click collect payment and it goes through and grabs that out of their bank account via direct debit. Payroll, general, all the standard stuff really. Leave, pay items, pay schedules. We've got a lot of these in here by default. Pay schedules, it's just buckets for employees and so forth. General tax, and then your tax settings just for all your BAS. All right. I'm just going to have a quick look at an invoice just so you can see what an invoice looks like in this system. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on those because there's other things I want to show you more as accountants, what you would be sort of looking at as well. So if I look at, say, this one for Love and Burnham Lawyers, this invoice, I can send via email, I can make a copy, I can view the history on it, print and so forth. I've allocated a project to this as well. I don't have to. I've got items set up and I could grab them, or I can just go straight to an account, put a dollar amount in, and it's got my payment details there. So that's how my invoice, and if I click on print that, for example, just so then we can sort of see what that looks like. Bills look exactly the same, just in the reverse, of course. The projects area, let's just have a quick look at that. So as I say, you saw the column where I've added that project on in the invoice. You can do the same on a bill. It gives you an estimated project position here, and when you run a profit and loss, you can drill down to say, I just want to see the Love 'em and Burn 'em project as well. So it is quite nice and easy there. It can produce journals within the system as well for any adjustments that you might want to make as well. Timesheets and expense claims. So timesheets feedback onto invoices for billing your customers, and expense claims, so reimburse the staff if they purchase something, or just on bill to customers as well too. All right, I'm going to have a look at the banking side. Yeah, we'll go to banking. I'll come back to the payroll side. So bank accounts, so you need to have created the bank accounts within here. So there's always a cash account created by default. Please make sure that you don't use that for trying to get feeds connected up to it or anything like that, because it won't actually work. So it's just showing me anything that's open. If it's got a little tick on it, that means it's reconciled. And if it's locked, it's ticks everything's allocated, and the lock is everything's reconciled, and you've locked that period off as well. So therefore you can't make any changes to that. So if we got the bank feeds coming through, then they'll just appear every single day. Otherwise, I can upload a bank statement by clicking Upload Transactions, and they will appear in here as well too. I've already uploaded some transactions, so let's just go to the month of February. I start with the Books Plus transaction. So this is anything that's in Books Plus that I've added in. So I've got some at the top there. I've got some uncleared ones, and these are money in, money out, so I've manually put into the system. You don't have to do that. You can just do everything off the bank feed as well too. I just want to go to the Books Plus transactions back up the top there. Just can you change the sort so we can just sort of see the way that looks. So I've already got some transaction rules in here. So transaction rules, memorizations, whatever you want to call them. It's setting up key criteria, and I'll show you one to automatically allocate, say, monthly account fees to bank charges. I don't have to deal with it. And I'm going to go down. I've got one for Walker Bakeries, and so I can just go through and accept the auto match. So that's just going to accept my rules, and they're going to clear off the screen. I've then got my, this is one of the payments I put through. This is a bill that I said that is paid. So it's coming up saying, you've got a bill for $640 that you've said's paid. Is this it here? Yes, it is, so I can accept that. I've also put in through a manual receive money to say they sent me money, so therefore I can accept that as well too. So it's just a matter of doing that same sort of thing, clicking the way through. I can also, with this, say the FPOS settlement, allocate the receipt. I can manually just allocate that, just like that. And so that clears off. Same with any payments as well too. I can get rid of those as well. Now, just want to quickly run through a couple of these. I've got an invoice here that I know this is an invoice being paid. I just want to allocate the receipt. This time I want to allocate detailed receipt because I want to actually clear this off against the debtor. So by clicking on the allocate detailed receipt, brings up further information, Loveham and Burnham lawyers, how they paid, and then I've got the what I want to allocate against, so I'll just click on that one there and save that. I'll do the same for this one. Just bear with me. I just want to quickly clear these off because I want to actually run through, complete the bank rec as well too. There we go, save. And then you have things like money, a funds transfer, so money that's gone over to a savings account. So that's where I want to use this allocate transfer, and I want to go savings. Now, just because something does come up as a match as well too, I don't actually have to use that. I can override that. I'm just going to create a rule on the Telstra one, and I'll show you what I mean after that. So let's just trim down this. I just want to call this Telstra. Look for keywords, Telstra at BPay, how it was paid, that isn't important. My supplier is Telstra. And telephone, and I'm going to say 80% of this is telephone and 20% is private use. So I want to put that to the drawings account, or loan account, whatever it might be. Excuse me. So you'll see that has come through as a match rule, but I can always override and put that to their allocate payments. So say for an Officeworks, I might always put that to printing and stationery, but I bought a desk and a printer and that, so I need to allocate that to the asset write-off account. So I can override that particular transaction. So once that's all accepted, or if I go to the Books Plus tab, we'll see everything has been cleared. I've got some reconciled transactions as well, and then I go to reconciliation. The quick coding beta is another feature we've got that's available for the live bank accounts. Unfortunately, I don't have a live bank account, so I can't show you there, but it's just it's a grid so you can quickly go through and do what we sort of did there. No idea what my closing balance actually should be, so let's just put in a figure and we'll make this sort of work. So start the reconciliation, and it just goes through and you can see anything that's in there, and I can exclude after the date or not, and I can see my balance there. So I'm out by 7,500 on that, but you get the idea. And when I'm happy with that, I finish the reconciliation, and this, of course, it's going to tell me there's a discrepancy, so I need to go back and fix that up. I can also continue later if I need to hunt for it a little bit harder by clicking on the finish reconciliation and going continue later. All right, I'm going to have a look at the payroll side. I'm just going to continue later on that. Okay, let's have a look at the payroll. I just want to have a quick look at an employee setup. So I've got Kate Wilkins here. Well, that's just loading there. I'm just going to go to the pay run screen. Okay, so I've got my users here, my employee. This username isn't required unless they're logging in to do their own timesheets. All the standard stuff you would expect, but you'll see here I've got Kate in the pay schedule for kitchen, so I can say I only want to pay the kitchen staff, for example. Hire dates, termination dates, long service leave, bank accounts, you can have more than one as well too that they can pay into. Tax, so different tax scales including the seasonal workers as well, any extra tax, dollar or percentage, help debts and so forth. Leave is one that I quite like. So I've got my annual leave, personal leave here, but this is what I like is there's a leave balance screen and I can do a projected leave. So Kate's thinking about having a big holiday at Christmas. So as at the 20th of December, no further leave taken. How many hours is she going to have? So it's a nice little feature that people can ask, okay, what will my leave be at a certain point in time? just with the pay setup, it does allow for any allowances, deductions, salary sacrifice for superannuation as well too. So all those different things. So I'm just going to go in and I'm going to run a pay run. Just waiting on your screen to catch up. Okay, creating a pay run. I can do a scheduled one. That's those kitchens pay buckets that I set up, or I can do unscheduled. And I can do an unscheduled and a scheduled for the same period if I'm wanting to test something out. So let's create that pay run and let the system load all the defaults. That's now sitting at draft. Kate's in there. If there's more than one employee, they're all going to list as well with a nice total down the bottom. And I can drill into that as well if there's any leave that's Kate has taken, as all the super. So you can see that information as well. Email that payslip out. I can, if I wanted to, I can print them one by one. We do have a bulk email option, but to save paper, we make it a bit harder for you as well. Finish the pay run, email the payslip. So finish that pay run. When I'm finished that, I can then go straight to the bank payments, create the ABA files, can do that for bills as well. I've got the reports area where I can then go and look at any reports that I want. As I said, email those out. Once I have finished that pay run, that information then automatically flows down to the single touch payroll area. And you can see I've got the new one that's come through. I've got one from last time that I haven't actually finalized. Let's just click on the one we've just done. And this is, remember, with single touch payroll, it is only reporting year-to-date figures. It's not reporting a pay run figures. It's reporting year-to-date. So I can send this over to the GovConnect STP app as well. And I can do a full file replacement or a update. So sending over the normal one, click on send, it sends that data over and you can go through and watch. I'm going to show you guys in a moment how that all looks. We've also opted for the full file replacement, and that means if you've completely stuffed up all the pay runs, you're just telling the ATO this is what everything should be. Whereas sending updates is if when someone started, you might not have had their TFN, so we need to then send an update. This is now their tax file number. And you can mark these as sent once, and they'll mark as sent automatically, but you can always go back to a draft and see what they look like. All right, I'm just going to go to this slideshow here. I'm just going to quickly run through STP, just mindful of time. I haven't got too much to go through, and I'll leave some time for questions at the end. So we've spoken about how it looks in there, GovConnect, send over to GovConnect, and launch. Okay, so on the left-hand side, when we're in that portal, there is, I'm just watching and waiting for your screens to catch up. Under Books Plus, there is a Reckon or a GovConnect, Reckon GovConnect. So partnered up with Reckon to use their GovConnect tool they're using for all their payroll products. And then click on that, Reckon GovConnect. It asks for multi-factor authentication. So anything that's touching the ATO on this point needs the authenticator. So install the Google Authenticator on your phone. There's also an add-on for the Google Chrome browser as well. You scan that QR code and then you put in a 6-digit code, which you can see on the left. Every time you go in afterwards and into the GovConnect app, it'll ask you just for the code and won't have the other stuff there. But once you go in there, you can go and lodge for 3 clients, and you only have to do the MFA once. You don't have to do it for every single client, because when you actually get in there, it's like the Books Plus screen. All your entities will appear under there. So you've got to put it in first, got to do the have the valid ABN and legal name and so forth. Everything needs to match through the system. And you can see from that screen there, I've got my Your Backyard Paradise, Launch Single Touch Payroll, and others will appear next to that as well too. So when I'm in there, that's my pay run coming up down the bottom there. So just going to say Books Plus, and pay run, it'll show you the total number of employees, total gross, total PAYG. Is it an update event, yes or no? You can then click submit from this screen if you're happy with everything that's in there, or you can look at the detail and it drills down and it'll list the individual employees in that pay run before you lodge that as well too. So you can just double check everything. If you're still not happy with that, you can submit all from this screen as well too, or you can click on the detail, which takes you through to the individual employees' details, so with their addresses, emails, that sort of thing in there. So it's good double checking sort of thing. As I say, you can submit all from that. Submitting as a business that you agree everything's true and correct and so forth, or as an advisor, it's a slightly different declaration saying you've got the information provided, you're authorised to do it, and so forth. A status message will come back from the ATO. It'll be submitted, and then it'll also be, they've then got to process it. The same with tax returns, the same with BASs. It's submitted, then they process everything as well too. In busy times, it will take them a little bit if they actually have said a couple of days for this to update. So it is a good idea to remember to come through, check for any error messages. They will be pushed back into this area as well too. If I go back to the main screen on that, it shows that that is now submitted. And if I did any update events, that would appear as well. The advisor and company info is just where you would get added as an advisor if you're lodging on their behalf. Have to put in all your correct details and it validates that as well. On the Books Plus side, search STP on the help site and it'll come up with any information there, or the Reckon knowledge base for the GovConnect side as well too, just if you need any help around that. All right, just going to go back in here. Last couple of things I want to have a look at is I'm just going to go into the reporting side. Budgets, unlimited number of budgets within Books Plus, so you can create as many of those as you want. I'm going to go into the report settings, report center, I should say. So the reports we've broken up between categories, financial, tax, payroll, so forth. And then you can click the little heart to make it a favorite, and it appears over on the left, so you can easily get to those reports at any time. One thing I do like as well, just remember, I can right click and generate these in new tabs. So if I want to generate 3 reports, I can just click here and go generate in new tab. And so therefore I'm not losing that screen and having it backwards and forwards all the time. So it does make life a little bit easier. The tax reports is where I'll find all my GST summaries, tax code transactions, tax code exemption reports. And then it just sort of self-explanatory as they go on through. Just going to look at the P&L I just created. So there's my P&L. Remember from the start, I can drill down on any of this. I can compare to another period, including a budget. There's my budget area, pick the one. Show more options, allows me to change the options. So this is where if I want to just see a project, I can click on projects. I don't want to see the account code. I can do a dollar variance. I can do change from cash and accruals as well too. So it does give me that flexibility. And then I refresh. When I want to see those changes, it is a hard refresh. So you can see this is the Love 'em and Burn 'em project, and I'm seeing that breakdown. Reports can be exported to PDF if you want to print them, CSV, XLSX, RTF as well. Just on the other side of that is under the tax area, I've got BAS, so I've got the GST summary. But if I go into the BAS area, I've got a draft one here. I know they're all due today, so I do appreciate everyone actually taking their time out to join this. Just trying to fit it in amongst everything. And then we've got showing the total sales. The difference on this is because it's the actual BAS rather than GST summary. It's going to show you any W1, W2, T7 figures and so forth as well. So just be aware of that. It doesn't lodge through the system, but you can mark it as lodged when that's done. Now, one little thing I would just want to show you back on the contact side. If we go into the suppliers, and I'll click on Walker Bakeries. This is where I tick if they're, just wait on your screen, up on the right here, subject to TPAR, tick that box. But I've also got this verification of an ABN. So I put in an ABN, verify, and we can see who that ABN belongs to and if they're registered for GST. If they're not registered for GST, it's just going to show you a little yellow exclamation mark and saying not registered for GST. So it's not a bad thing there. All right, what I'm going to do now, I know that's a bit of a fastish sort of overview, and of course, if anyone wants to know some more details, further details around all of this, I know myself and the team are getting in touch with everyone to see if they need any help. We can do one-on-one sessions as well to tell you more, go through a particular area, so forth, that you might want to have a look at as well. Will is your key account manager there, so his number's on the screen if anyone wants to get in touch with him, just with general everyday questions. And of course, we've got the other side where the support for you guys and all of that. I'm going to throw it open to questions now, so if you do have a question, please type them in the questions box. So we do have a couple of those already coming through. I'm just going to go back to to my browser so we can have a look at that. Just one thing on the browser before I just get into that question. There is a new product that's available to all of you, which is Better Clinics as well. It's a booking system, inventory system, billing system, everything for allied health, so chiropractors, physios, all of that sort of thing. Great little system. If you are interested in that, you can click on that, learn more. It takes you through to the website, and you can get in touch with the guys that are on the look after Better Clinics to have a look at that. All right, so going into the staff area. So if they're not IPA members, so we just come into here, click on Add Staff. I'm just trying to think of an email address just off the top of my head. And I'll do. Okay, when I click next, it says it's not associated with an IPA account. This is an IPA Books Plus account, not the other, not your general public accountants. Click on the create account. It creates an account for the portal, and then they can log in and do that. So the staff don't have to be members, but the person who does the initial sign up does have to be a member there. The question also has come through around exporting data into programs such as AO, MIB AO. So at the moment, we are working on a report to be able to export a transaction listing on that, but at the moment it is print out the data and rekey that in manually. I was talking to someone the other day about using the account inquiry report and making a few adjustments to that manually outside, exporting this CSV and importing it in. AO will take a CSV import. I know it does prefer a TXT, but a bit of fiddling around it can make that work as well too. So do watch this space on the export. It's something we do want to get out as well too, just to make that life a little bit easier. If the bank rec has been finalised, if there's an error you can find, yes, you can go back and unlock that. So in the banking area, let's just go back to reconciliation tab. Just below the start reconciliation, there is an undo last reconciliation option. It'll undo everything. All the transactions go from reconciled to cleared. Then you can go in and fix up those transactions that you need. You will need to re-reconcile back to that date that, say, in this case, 13th of July 2018. We'll need to re-reconcile back to that, then do it again. I probably would... my thought is best practice is to go reconcile back to where you originally reconciled to, then do your next reconciliation after that, rather than sort of trying to do it all at once, just so you've got a better audit trail going through the system. Speaking of audit trails, you'll notice in a lot of places we have this view history, and it just shows you who's actually been in and done a lot of things. So this is where we highly recommend the each staff have their own username, user login. It's free. You can have as many as you want. So you can always see who's come in and made any changes and so forth. All right. Any other questions, queries coming through? So at the moment, we don't have a cash flow report there, Terry. So it's something we are working on getting that report in there as well too. So just watch this space on that one. Unfortunately, that's not quite there. But through the Zapier add-on, we can access a number of other add-on reporting people as well too. I know they do cost extra, but it does give you that option. But it is something that we have had a lot of feedback around, so we are looking at rectifying that one as well too. As I say, I have recorded this, so we'll make this available somewhere. We'll probably send it over to the IPA and get them to put it up on their YouTube channel. We'll make it available in the training academy that I showed you guys earlier as well too. But yeah. But if you have any other questions, queries, want to see something that I was looking at within there, actually, that's a good point. Thank you. Transaction rules, I was just sort of looking there. Remember, I created a transaction rule before. When I click on transaction rules under banking, this is where they will all appear. So I can make any adjustments. I can move them around as well too, because there is a priority order as well. So just be aware of that. And if you are wanting to put on the actual bank feeds, bank connections, when you click on that, you can connect to an account. Takes you through to the area to load that up. I'll just let that load up in the background. And below that is the just watching what you guys are seeing as well. Yeah. Below that is bank payments, and this is where I go through to create ABA files as well. So it's just a matter of clicking on add, and I can add them in. All the bills will be there marked as paid. They must be as a direct debit for them to appear. Okay, so just looking at the connecting up a bank feed, nothing's currently added there. I just click on add a feed, and I choose the country. Now, Books Plus is only available in Australia. It is available in the UK for the IFA members over there. We've got direct fees, and then we do use the Yodlee service for some of the others as well too. Just a word of heads up, ANZ and Westpac, you can actually go onto those and say, send this data down rather than actually completing this way here. Let's go St. George. Click on next, and it's just a matter of filling in the account name, BSB, creates a form that needs to be signed and then emailed back to us, and we'll get that done. It generally takes 5 to 7 days, just depends on the banks to get that active. Some do historical data, some don't, but you can easily upload QIFs of other transactions. I do have a preference for using QIFs. All the banks will give you a QIF file. I do have a preference for QIF because the mapping's already done for you. CSVs, you've got to do all the mapping. So it's just nice and easy. QIF, it's an industry standard, works quite well. And if you have more than one bank account, do it one by one. Otherwise, it does group all the transactions up. So just be aware of that as well. All right. Any other questions or queries? I haven't seen anything come through for a moment while I was just having a look at those couple of things there. Thank you for bearing with me with my little bit of a stuffy nose. Hopefully it's been okay for all of you guys there. But if anything does come up afterwards, I'll just give it another minute. I might even wrap up because I haven't seen anything coming through. Let you all get back to doing your BASs and everything. But if you do have any queries, just remember we've got all the contacts there. Get in touch with Will, or you've got the inquiries email address as well too that you can get in touch with us to to find anything out. But other than that, I want to thank you all for attending and enjoy the rest of your day. I'll just give it another minute just in case someone is typing a question. But other than that, I will say the goodbyes, but I'll come back before I do close off. But thank you everyone for attending. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. So thank you all and enjoy your day. I'll close the webinar now. Thank you very much.